Welcome to the Survival Podcast for people who take movies too seriously.
We survived the apocalypse, so you don't have to.
I'm Johnny.
And I'm Shane.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, I got back from that reprogramming island Paul from those conspiracy guys was on. I mean, I was busy. I was busy. Yeah, I was busy.
I thought like you were up on the wall. I thought that's what... So that's the story going around.
I was...
You stole a wheel of cheese. You had to take the black.
Yeah.
But you died, and somebody brought you back, and that's how you got.
Yeah, I got over. I gave my life to the wall. Yeah.
But yeah, so we're doing I Am Alive this week, which is something we were meant to do fucking ages ago. It was meant to be a follow-up to the Earthquake episode.
Oh, yeah.
So this is kind of like Aftershock, really, is what this episode is. But yeah, we're doing the video game I Am Alive that I would say a tiny fraction of people will have even remembered at this point. So this might be a terrible idea for an episode, but we'll see how it goes.
You gotta have confidence, you know? It'd be alright, I think. Yeah, it's good.
We'll see if he's...
Yeah, well, you have up on the Open Bottle channel, there's you did a lot of Let's Plays of it, so...
Yeah.
People can reference that, even if they've never played the game or heard of it.
Yeah. So all 50 people that watch them will enjoy. But yeah, before we get into it, if this is your first time, subscribe, of course. This is your second or third time, about time you leave a review.
Why haven't you left a review yet?
Or just rate us, really. Rating is what really helps. Review is just a bonus for us, but the rating helps our position on iTunes and stuff. And if you want to support us, head to our TeePublic or our Teespring, get some merchandise. And that's really it. But one of the most important... We won't have a huge intro here, but one of the big things is we're doing this camping trip with the guys from... Those conspiracy guys? The guys from those conspiracy guys.
Yeah, those guys.
Those guys, and not another fake newscast. So if you want to help out and make sure we don't freeze to death in the mountains in October in Ireland. We
were just thinking that we need more blankets.
Yeah.
Or heavier sleeping bags.
So yeah, if you want to get us through that safely, you can... or if you just want to send us an item to review or some food, some manky fucking... ration packs or something. We have some Amazon wish lists and the links will be in the description, so you can chuck us something from there if you'd like,
please.
So we're going to be doing that for an entire weekend, and then after it on the Tuesday night, TCG are doing, those conspiracy guys are doing a live show in the Sugar Club in Dublin,
and we will be there.
We'll be there in some capacity.
At the very least you can meet us. And we won't tell you which of us is which either.
Yeah, so that's October 10th. You can check out thoseconspiracyguys.com for tickets, or just any of our Twitters or Facebooks. There'll be a link in the description of this too, of course.
Yeah.
But so that'll be a good show. It's going to be like a 3-hour thing, I guess, and none other fake newscasts will be at that as well. They're going to be doing a proper live segment that pertains to their show, because they're not, what they do and what Gordo does isn't a million miles away from each other.
Yeah, where ours is.
Experience has taught me that just talking about fucking nukes going off to people that aren't interested in that, they're there to hear about conspiracies. It doesn't really go down well. But
I was thinking about it the other day. It's kind of like it's in the far future, they're the Old Testament and we're the New Testament of the world. We're like, how do you live in this world now that's been destroyed? Where they're like, how we got here.
That's pretty much it. But we'll be there anyway, and even if we weren't, you should be going, because it's going to be a good show.
And I'm going to have to change my name to Paul, because
that's the legal requirements.
Yeah, because there's Paul from Not Another News, fake newscast, and there's Paul from TCG, and we don't have a Paul, so I'm now Paul, I guess.
It's funny as well, because I met, to me, Paul from TCG is Paul. He's just Paul, but then fake news Paul is the other Paul, which is such a funny name to call somebody. He's just fake news Paul. It sounds like he's works for CNN. It sounds like I'm Trump talking about some presenter on CNN.
That's fake news Paul.
But you like it's just because their podcast is about calling out the fake news stuff. But
He will forever be known as Fake News Paul. I think that's
I hope it does. Like, I'm sorry, Paul, if that sticks with you for life. Fake News Paul.
And your Disaster Johnny.
Johnny Disaster.
Or Johnny Disaster. Oh, I put mine. I put it Shane Disaster. I can't remember. On Discord, you can come join us and chat to us as well on our Discord server.
Yeah. All those links are all over our social media stuff. Yeah, well, like my surname starts with a D, so it made sense for it.
So you're still Johnny D.
Yeah. And also, like, I thought, like, well, it's like the Ramones thing. Like, it's not. It's not Ramon Markey, Ramon Joy.
That's really funny. I put myself as Disaster Shane, so I might have to change it the other way around.
Yeah, I assume you can still, like, it's.
Yeah, I can.
But anyway, yeah. So I Am Alive. We can get pretty much right into it.
Yeah.
You haven't played the game, but you've seen.
No, I watched most of your Let's Plays. I don't think I watched all of them. I might have skipped one or two. I'm trying to remember.
But you watched like the beginning and end, like.
Yeah, I kind of just watched them while like on my phone on the bus, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a long game. It's like.
Yeah,
I think
I was reading stuff there. It's like 5 hours, 5.5 hours or something.
I remember when I finished it, it said like total gameplay time was like 7 hours, but that wasn't true. I think it must count like when you pause and forget. Or
like just idle, like
Yeah, it must count that because there's no way I was playing. Like the videos I done altogether came to like 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
So I'd say it was like 5.5. Like it's a very short game, which is kind of ridiculous because I remember when that came out. Like I think it came out in 2012.
Yeah.
But its originally release date was like 2007 or something. Like that took years to get made, and like there was loads of hype behind it.
Yeah.
And then it was just this kind of
like
mediocre 5-hour game.
Yeah,
like it's so flawed.
It's a great concept of a game, and it just doesn't seem to have a lot of follow through. Or like from what I watched of it, there's loads of ideas and concepts and stuff going on.
Yeah,
and then none of it really goes anywhere.
Well, I think everything's just like like it's just kind of half-assed. Like there's the whole idea that it's about like figure out how to get over a building. That's like problem solving. Yeah. But it's the illusion that there's problem solving because everything is it's very linear and it's laid out before you.
Yeah, like, you were constantly saying that like if it's there, then it's there for a reason.
Yeah. There's no. You don't look at the map and be like, oh, now what here can I use to my advantage? You just see a ledge and you're like, well, there's one ledge there.
Yeah, there's only one way,
and there's a drain pipe leading right to that one ledge. So I have to climb this one, obviously. And the entire thing's like that. I would rather fucking waste 15-20 minutes trying to figure out like, well, which building am I meant to go over and climb to one and realize it's a dead end and have to go back. I'd much prefer that than like, oh well, there's a path there, so I just climb this.
They should at least give you like 3 options. One leads to nothing, one leads to certain death, and the other is the right way or something. Yeah. And everything should be that way.
There was a few times where I was like, oh, well, am I meant to go this way? But it was very, very few. And I think when it was at like that later in the game or at the halfway mark when I got like that. And I think it was more, I was becoming kind of, it's like when you blitz a season of something on Netflix and by episode 8 you're just going through the motions, so you're not really paying attention. I think I was kind of like that at the later stages of the game, where the only reason I was kind of getting confused was because
you just played it for so long.
But I'd only probably played it for 3 hours at that point. But it was more that I was it was predictable. I was so used to the mechanics and what I do that I wasn't paying attention anymore.
Yeah. Like there was points where you were just flying up buildings. I was like, oh my god! Like, you were just like bing, 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 like and there was no question about where to go. But then there was one or two earlier on. I think it was you were going up this like elevator shaft, and I was like, no, Johnny, it's the other way. Go the other way. I could see it because obviously you're looking one way, and then me as an observer was like, no, it's up to the left. Well, I'll go up to the left, and you're like, and you're just kind of climbing. You're like, where am I going now? I think it's is it over this way? And I was like watching it going, no, the other way. But it was rare that happened.
Yeah.
Very rare.
And that's the other side of it too. I think when you're playing a game and talking, it's very easy to miss stuff because you're talking about like, what you should make a mask if you're in this predicament in real life. You're not really thinking about what you're doing.
But that's more the kind of stuff we're going to get into, obviously. Is the scenario of I'm alive rather than just the game.
Yeah. The only thing I will say about the game is the set pieces are really good. Like, as in the idea of there's just really good moments that are really cinematic. Like that at the end where like you have to pretty much climb up through an upside down building, like, and it's so really cool. Jarring. Like that'd be a great sequence in a movie.
Yeah. And I love the one where you to get the box hanging up out of the crane. And then when you're coming, and that's where they're like, oh, here's conveniently a grappling hook for you. But then when you're coming down from that and you have to slide down a building that's on the side, that was so cool.
That's great.
I was just watching that being like, oh, that is amazing. And you have to keep rolling.
Yeah,
and then hope, like, but you would come down so fast, like, you would just die anyway.
Oh, there's no way you could do that.
But it looked cool, and it would be cool. Like, I could see Tom Cruise doing it in a movie.
Yeah.
It was one of those.
Oh yeah, like it's
such a Tom Cruise movie. The whole thing.
Yeah, he's probably a bit too old now, but probably not. It's just like that's funny, yeah, because they would do that movie now with Tom Cruise. I always find this like, what age is he now? 55 or whatever,
something like that. Yeah.
And he would still have like a 4-year-old daughter.
Oh yeah, of course.
And I know a 55-year-old can still have a 5-year-old daughter, but typically they don't. Yeah. Like, their kids are in college. Like, it's like that last Arnie movie that was out, like the zombie one, where his daughter gets. I haven't seen it. I saw the trailer, and like his daughter is like a teenager in it.
She's like 16 or something.
Grandfather, like his like he might be a great grandfather at this point.
Like his kids were in like their 40s.
Yeah. Yeah, he's probably not a great grandfather, but he's definitely a grandfather, and he should be playing a grandfather at this point. It's just really
make
funny.
It his granddaughter.
And they do the same with Liam Neeson, like in the Taken movies. His daughter's in college, and it's like, his daughter would be like a married woman with kids at this point. Like, it's just really weird that they keep casting men.
Though, if anyone of the three of them could pull it off, you'd believe Tom Cruise married like a 25-year-old when he was like in his 40s.
Yeah, you would definitely believe it, but not for every movie. He's always although, to be fair, I actually don't recall Tom Cruise often playing a father in movies, with the exception of War of the Worlds.
I was going to say that, I think only really War of the Worlds.
And that was 10, 15 years ago anyway. Like,
most of the time he's...
Actually, to be fair,
he's got nobody, and he goes for... He has nobody and then falls in love with his co-star. That's usually his same formula.
War of the Worlds, his kids were probably inaccurate, because like the son was like 16, 17, and then she was like 8 or whatever. That was probably around the age of his actual kids.
That's about 10 years ago as well, isn't it?
I'd say more. I'd say that's 15 years at this point, or between 10 to 50. Let's say 12. 12 and a half.
12 and a half.
Sorry, I can't help but look now to see how 2005.
No way.
Yeah.
12 years exactly. That's hilarious.
But yeah, it'd still be a Tom Cruise film. Like, that's it. Yeah, it's such a Tom Cruise film. Yeah. The guy kind of looks like him.
Yeah, that's true.
But so a lot of people listening to this won't have played it and probably won't. So the basic idea is...
The event happened.
You play as a family man who went away on a business trip. While away, there was an earthquake that pretty much destroyed half of America, or maybe it all, we don't really know. And he spent the last year just walking to Chicago, essentially, walking from one coast to another, just to find his family who he thinks for some reason are still going to be there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why.
Or at least give him an idea of where they went. But I suppose his first assumption is that they're there.
Well, he calls for them when he enters his home, so I assume he still thought there might be, which that's what I found weird.
Yeah, you gotta have hope, though, you know.
Yeah.
But the game starts with you've just gotten to Chicago, isn't it? You're across the first level is the bridge, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're kind of crossing a bridge into the city, and it's a year later. I imagine there's probably a really good survival game in the 12 months before he gets there as well.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I think the original game was probably set days after.
Yeah.
I remember they done a teaser trailer, and like the character you were playing as, he had the same name and everything. I can't remember his name now, but it was a completely different design.
Yeah.
And it was like the teaser trailer to put out was just him being chased by three guys in business suits, and the president wanted water off him.
Yeah.
And he they chase him through this building, and he realizes it's an old museum, and they're standing on like a glass ceiling. So he throws the water on the ground, and they go to grab it and fall through it and all that. And he just walks away, and you just see like him walking out the building in the ruins, and then it just comes up 6 days earlier.
Yeah.
And then it just shows normal Chicago or whatever, and him on his way to work. And the three guys are all guys he worked with, and he's just chatting them. And then it just shows and then the earth just starts to shake, and it's the day of disaster.
Yeah.
It was a cool teaser, but that's such a different.
It's a totally different game.
Yeah.
So the idea was that like they went savage like straight away.
Within 6 days, I guess.
That's kind of cool though.
Yeah.
Also, it was always set in Chicago.
I think
because that would make sense that it's just the same game, like
it's
geography
the same
and
map
stuff.
and everything.
Yeah. That they just changed the story.
Yeah. But I'm not sure why. Like they
must have done test audience stuff or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, like it seems like this version when you're just like, and I guess it's because The Road and The Last of Us and stuff. But it seems more generic now. It's just like a post-apocalyptic guy, surrogate father helping a kid. Like it's just such a generic story now.
I know, yeah.
I guess it wasn't in 2012.
Yeah. When it brought in the story of, we'll keep going. Yeah, so you get into the city, and then you're just trying to get to your house, isn't it? And then
that's essentially the goal. Yeah, like I mean, the basic plot is
find your family.
Find your family, but he doesn't. He goes to his house, doesn't find them, and instead he ends up saving this little girl. So that becomes his mission. That's the simple plot. Like his family are out the window once he has that kid. Anyway,
I really thought that was going to be like one level, and then you were going to be finished with the kid, and then you'd be on to something else. I really thought that.
Well, I didn't know how long the game was. So when I ended that mission and like she got on the boat and stuff, I was like, I guess I go and find my family now. And then it's just like credits. It's like, what?
Yeah, and then it's just this woman watching the video that you're recording. You're like, what? Yeah, I thought that was like just that. That was like whatever. That's the second act done. Now onto the third act. But
yeah, and I didn't. I knew it was a short game, like, but I still expected. Well, there's going to be an ending here. But
they must have intended a sequel and all that kind of stuff, but it didn't do as well as they thought it would.
Yeah, or they just realized that this probably isn't going to do well. We'll just wrap it up. Like, I think it was a case where they kind of had. They
had to release it.
Yeah, they spent so long working on it, and they're like, well, we have to release something. So,
yeah.
Like it's really half-assed in that sense.
Yeah.
But like I like the mechanics. The whole idea of the game is just about climbing, essentially.
It's all about the climb.
Yeah, it's all to make that happen. Like the plot is very much secondary.
I thought in a lot of ways it was similar. To me, kind of the mood in a lot of ways was very similar to something like Splinter Cell or something, where because like in that you're just crouching around in the dark and trying not to be seen and stuff, and it's that problem solving. You get into a room and then you have to get out of the room. Like to me, it was very similar in that kind of way. That like it's linear. You can only go that one way because that door is locked, so you have to go through the other door. And that was the whole time watching it. I thought it's very like Splinter Cell. So for anyone who hasn't seen it, and you're like, that's a good comparison, I think, but nowhere near as good as Splinter Cell.
But again, it's kind of the illusion of that too.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the game's programmed for sneaking to even work in it. I was just doing it because, I'm used to doing that in games.
Yeah,
but it doesn't actually make a difference whether you're sneaking or not. Like,
you just walk down the street tall.
Yeah, it's like when you hit a certain point, the NCP characters react to you no matter what you're doing. Like,
right, okay.
It's just all the illusion.
So you're crouching behind a wall, even though it's like you could just be walking along and they won't see you till you're within. In game world within like 3 meters of them, kind of thing. Like
because there was that same thing at the end, and so skipping way ahead, but at the end you have to go to an amusement park and rescue the kid. She's been taken, and the boat's on the way to pick them up. So like the kid's mother says, you can't shoot if the captain hears gunfire. they're
Oh,
going to
yeah.
think there's a risk and not come, and that's a great idea. And then I was like, oh my God, am I going to have to go through this level without firing a gun? Like that's such a cool idea.
That is cool. Yeah.
And there's so much pressure. And I'm like, I've got the bow, but I've only got like one arrow, like, so that's all I have. And that just seems like such a cool finale idea. And then at one moment I panicked and I shot a guy like 7 times with a shotgun.
It didn't matter.
And it didn't matter. And so I just went on shooting people, and it's like, well, the game just ended.
Anyway, that's really funny.
So it just didn't make a difference. Like, but you know that, well, originally the idea was you would have to go through that level without shooting somebody. It would all have to be sneak kills and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But they just didn't actually finish programming it that way, I guess.
That's really funny. I didn't realize. Because that was the other thing. Part of like the getting from A to B to C kind of linearness of it is the whole thing of like you have a gun but you don't have bullets, but at every point you get a bullet and then you use it, but you get a new one.
Yeah.
So you
yeah,
constantly,
exactly.
like very rarely at any point do you not have the 1 or 2 bullets that you need to take on the guys you're about to face.
Yeah, the only time it happens,
Unless you just waste it. Like,
yeah, if you just end up missing the first time and end up having, if you ever have to use 2 bullets on one guy, that's the only time you end up with no bullets next time. Like,
yeah, yeah. But there's always a point like where you come around a corner and there's 3 guys, and it's always a case of you've 1 bullet, and they're spaced out that you can shoot one, and then hack another one with like your machete, and then you have enough time to turn around and get the next guy.
Yeah. Do you know, because like the controls are kind of clunky, if you end up accidentally like doing the machete attack, because they're like quick time events, so you can't really, you've got no real control over it. If there's another guy there and they attack you, you end up panicking and shooting guys you could have taken out with just the machete.
That's annoying.
But it's just because of clunky mechanics. But
Yeah. Was it like RPG? Like you just go into it and that's it, you're kind of stuck with it. Like
only for like the certain attacks, for like the
Yeah.
struggle kill, I think it is.
oh yeah,
But yeah, there's no like hacking or anything.
Yeah.
You're not just, it's not a button masher or anything.
yeah. It's just the same.
There's no combat on unless you're just shooting.
No, it's like you're like do this move and then they do it.
Yeah, pretty much. And you just have to like, keep pressing X,
yeah.
and that's pretty much it. But well, so if you were on a business trip and the big one hit and destroyed the entire country, we're going to assume we live in America for this, because in Ireland it'd be very easy to walk coast
It would
to
take like
coast.
2-3 days. I know, it would take you a week.
From Galway to Dublin, do you think a week?
10
that be-
days max. You could do it in like 10 hours on a bike, like cycling.
Yeah, well, let's
Just Google
check
Map it,
Google
yeah.
Maps, yeah. Google Maps is never actually accurate. They always add.
Yeah, it's always shorter.
Yeah, it's always way shorter.
I was looking there the other day because I've moved house, I'm much further away from the bunker now, which is terrible. It was a terrible plan on my part. I'm so much further from this bunker, but I'm building my own bunker, so it's fine. We need to set up a CB radio between us or something. But I was looking at it like, oh, what if I walked to work? Just curiously, and it was like 4 hours or something to walk to work.
Was it actually 4 hours?
Yeah, I think it was like 3:40 or something like that.
Jesus.
And then if I cycled it said it'd be like 40 minutes. So
Apparently, walking from Galway to Dublin,
yeah,
42 hours.
no way.
Yeah.
But that's continuous, of course.
Well, that's
So-
continuous, yeah, but...
So you could probably do. Would you do 12 hours walking a day? 4-hour rest, 8-hour sleep.
I don't know if you...
Like you put in meals. Like you're gonna have to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
it. Like to keep up your energy, you're gonna have to have your 3 meals a day.
I don't think you could do 12 a day. I think it'd be... You might be able to do 12... Like, you could walk for 12 hours one day, but the
Yeah.
next day you're not going to be doing 12
No,
hours.
you're gonna do 8. Yeah.
It's an 11-hour, 6-minute cycle.
There you go.
That same route. 42 hours, though. I'm very surprised it's that short. That's how
Yeah.
small Ireland is.
But I suppose with rest and sleep, it does come to about 5 days, maybe 6. Like you're nearly a week. Yeah.
I'd say 5. Yeah, 5 anyway. And then, like, if you're talking the geography is going to be quite different at post giant earthquake.
Yeah.
So
And
you could knock that up to 2 weeks in this world.
And you're gonna have to, go around things. Bridges are gonna be collapsed. You're gonna might have to avoid built-up areas that have a lot of people who will kill you and that kind of stuff.
Well, let's see how long it would take for him to do his journey normally.
Where was he coming from? Actually, it was.
I mean, I'm guessing it was California.
Because it took him a year. Like, if it was New York, it would be like 2 or 3 months max.
Yeah.
Because New York and Chicago are not that far away from each other. I think it's about a 4 hour. It's like a 4 or 5 hour drive.
No, I'm pretty sure it was coast to coast anyway. I know Chicago's not quite the coast, but it's close enough. I mean, 668 hours.
All right, okay. From LA, is that?
Just out of California.
California.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just put California. What's that in days? A lot, anyway.
Yeah.
But like, it's not a year anyway. But the year is because he's going through all these other cities that are as equally destroyed as Chicago. Although Chicago is kind of the hub of the disaster, so you'd imagine the other places aren't quite as bad. But still.
Okay, it's 27.6 full days, like 24-hour days.
Yeah.
So what did you say? 664, was it?
668, I think.
Oh, 668. Sorry. Let's divide that by 8, right? Yeah, 83 days. Like,
Yeah.
really, of 8 hours of walking.
Yeah. But that's just now, today, if you're to do it, like.
Yeah. So you're talking 90 days roughly. So yeah, 3 months. So yeah, you double it, like 6 months. A year is pretty, I suppose, but you could get stuck. You could spend like a week trying to cross a river, you know?
Yeah. Well, the idea, so if this walk normally for what he done would be 30 days, but in this world it was a year, meaning the one that was 2 days for us would be about...
Oh, sorry, 3 months is a year, but yeah.
Sorry?
3 months is a year, so it's multiplied by 4.
What do you mean 3 months a year?
So you said a month for 30 days. It was 90 days for him to walk it. It didn't...
No, it was 668 hours.
Yeah.
Is what
if you're walking 8 hours a day, it's about 80 something days.
Yeah.
So 3 months.
No, but ignore the... Sorry, we're doing these two... So like 668 hours is 30 days. That's how long his walk would take him now.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
But in this world, it took a year. So if 30 days in this world is a year, that means 2 days in this world would be what? Well, essentially, like it's 11 times. Like his one is 11 times. So.
Oh yeah, so it's 10 days, or it's 20 days then. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'd have 20 days is what it would take.
Yeah, so it could take us a month.
Yeah. So
Roughly.
If this is the same disaster in Ireland, it'll take you a month to do what he done, essentially, if you're in Galway. So would you do it? Would you bother?
Yeah. I don't know if I'd be going to Dublin, though. I'd probably go Dublin to Galway rather than Galway to Dublin.
But the idea Dublin's where you have to go. This is where your family is. You're in Galway. You have to travel.
Yeah.
But then I don't think it would take you the same... You wouldn't need to multiply it as much because the only like towns you're going through that would be troublesome is like Longford and Athlone. Like they're the only two like big popular places.
Enough. Yeah. The rest is towns with like 50 people in them, and
then again, actually, that might be worse. Like, because if you go through if there's some fucking village that has been struck by an earthquake here, there's probably no other road. It's like if you can't, like, well, what do you climb over? Like, if the bridge is down, there's not going to be a building down the road collapsed that you can like use
as
to
a bridge
get over. So you're probably actually fucked.
Yeah, you're gonna have to walk to like. You're gonna have to follow the river till it's narrow enough to cross and things like that. Like crossing things like the Shannon and like the Boyne and all, like the bigger rivers. Like you're just gonna have to. Yeah, you're just gonna like follow them upstream.
Yeah. So you're just gonna end up going. You're probably gonna end up like walking up to walking to Carlow, then up to Monaghan, and then coming down. You know, you're just gonna
coming down through Louth or something.
Though you could just fucking get a boat and go on the canal.
Yeah.
If you can like manage to open the locks yourself and stuff. Like you couldn't go if there's been a tsunami and shit, you're gonna have to avoid natural occurring rivers. But like shouldn't a canal still be smooth sailing?
Though if it's a very bad earthquake, you might reach a point in the canal where it's just split. Like it's just totally gone. Like.
You'd be good for a few miles here and there, you'd imagine.
Yeah.
It's the only way I can think of that we'd benefit. Not like they don't have canals in America though, so I'm not sure why he didn't do it. But yeah, I'd say like if I could do it in a month, yeah, sure. But if I was actually in his predicament where I was in California, like I'm not going walking for a year, not a chance.
No way, like.
I don't care how much I love my family.
It's okay.
But I guess if you have nothing better to do.
Yeah, that's it. Like, if you've got nothing.
How many people died? Like, how many people would make that same journey and just don't make it to Chicago though? Like,
I'd imagine so many.
yeah. But then, yeah, I don't think. Well, I won't be a good enough climber that when I actually got home, like it'd have all been in vain anyway. Because the first bridge, like, I mean, I'd have to turn around.
I think it's kind of one of those things. I imagine that, like, no matter where you are, if you're not at home, you're gonna try and get home, even if it's very likely your home has been destroyed.
No, yeah, realistically, yeah, I think that's just an instinctual thing,
like even thinking like we're here, we're what, a half an hour walk into the city centre from here.
Yeah.
Like if that happened in the middle of the city, you'd try and get back here, and it might take you like 2 hours or something, or, you know.
Yeah.
But you're still gonna do it, and then you get here, and then this place is like rubble. Then you're gonna walk home to Offaly. You know?
Yeah, most likely. I'd say though, like honestly, if like I was in the city, in Dublin City when that happens, I'd probably only be coming here to like
grab supplies,
get stuff that I'd need for the longer journey. Like,
yeah,
because I think like any disasters we've talked about, it always seems to make sense to go to a country place, like, and it just happens my home is a country environment.
Yeah. Where my home is up here, but I would go to my wife's parents because they're in the country. So
yeah.
And I know they have a good setup.
But I think that's it. Like any journey, like the pros and cons would be what decide whether I do it. To begin with. If you're looking for your family, fair enough. That's a good reason. It's also like, what else do you do? Do you just like? Because for him, like, well, California is going to be in shit too, so do you just stay there?
Yeah.
And just, like, fend for yourself? And, like, you're doing the same shit either way. Like, is it any worse walking around LA looking for food than it is just walking back to Chicago looking for food on your way? You know, you're living the same life. So you might as well look for your family.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, like, are you better off moving, constantly moving? Are you better off being nomadic? Or trying to find somewhere that you make your safe haven.
Yeah.
Because you're always going to have bandits. You're always going to have, you're eventually going to run out of food at some point. You're going to have to be nomadic in some way.
Yeah.
But do you just stay continuously nomadic, you know?
Yeah, I imagine it is for the best because, I mean, even like the unknowing, like staying, like it's better to fucking do it and regret it than not do it and regret it, I guess, because you're just gonna be sitting in the ruins of LA, and you might be able to carve out a fucking decent community. Like you might be able to get a hotel where there's a few people living there, you trust each other, but you're still going to wonder, like, well,
what's out there?
Yeah, is Boston doing any better? Like,
yeah, that's the thing. Like, you could be sitting there thinking, okay, we have enough food for the next 2 weeks, and then that's it. Then we're fucked. But for all you know, like that in Boston, there's plenty of food and it's fine. You know, like it wasn't affected that badly.
Where do you think would be the worst city to be with the environment he's living in California in that game? Like, where do you think would be the city where there'd be the most savage of bandits, the bigger risk in total?
I don't know. It's kind of like, I was going to say New York, but actually New York has a bit of a kind of this thing of like, we're in this together.
Yeah. Going by current crime stats, Chicago probably is it in America. Like Chicago and Detroit. Like,
yeah, they're probably worse places to go. You'll always you have a bad element no matter where you go, but I think you'll probably find more community in somewhere like New York. Because even though it's like millions of people who never talk to each other, but when it's about their city and stuff, they get together. Like they've proven that with like 9/11 and stuff, and like people do come together.
Geographically, though, you'd imagine New York is that much bigger than Chicago.
Yeah,
they'd run out of resources quicker. But also inconceivable that you could even get across it.
Oh yeah, imagine all the bridges collapsed. Like,
you're
stuck on Manhattan. Like.
Yeah. But even if you're stuck on Manhattan, just getting to the other side of the island would be near impossible with just the amount of destruction that would lay in front of you.
Yeah, it's just all the buildings are so crammed together, and there's like, and a lot of taller buildings. Any of them come down, that's just blocks and blocks gone. Like there's no way you can get through. It's probably be the most, just like any big city. Like I suppose Chicago's pretty big as well. Like they're gonna be fucked.
Yeah.
Basically.
I think when it comes down to it, like as far as how savage people can turn, I think most cities will just end up like that anyway. It doesn't really matter what their current sort of attitudes are. I think people will just, it's like fucking how people are in wartime. Like good people just turn animal. Like
yeah, that's true.
What I find funny, like in the video in the game, like is how you'll meet people down in the subway who are clearly like cannibals and stuff, but they're still like friendly to you and offering you food, like, but it's human meat, like, but
they're nice, but they just do whatever to survive.
Yeah,
don't care. Like they're nice on the outside, but kind of evil on the inside.
Yeah. But if they're stuck for meat and you look like an easy target, they're going to eat you.
I suppose you meet them, you're like a man in his prime, he's pretty strong, been climbing his way across America. They're going to be like, he's not worth fighting. Like,
no, they're in fact like they're probably offering you because like hopefully you're on the same page as them and you might like bring them their next meal. Like, lure somebody down there for them, which is what I would certainly pretend to do, that to stay out of trouble. Like just pretend like, oh yeah, I'll coax some lads down here for you.
I'll go fish out the weak ones for you.
Because those people you meet clearly aren't just eating like, you know, somebody that died naturally, and they're just like, oh well, it's good meat. Like you see that there's fucking cages in the back and stuff. That like a year into it, that's definitely going to be very prominent cannibalism in a city like that.
Because there's no other option. Like it's the same in Last of Us.
No, unless you climb up buildings, because then you just find like canned fruit sitting on a ledge and stuff.
I love that. That's one of the funniest things in the game. It's just like, but how did that get there? Like,
yeah, it makes no sense. Like, just like a box of fucking Oreos or something, you'll just get on a ledge.
But even that point where you have to get up to the box hanging from the crane on the building, like that makes no sense that that's there at all. Even though they say like they're dropped in, like why is it hanging out of a crane outside of a building?
Yeah, it's just
like it makes no sense.
I do like the idea that every time, like after there's an aftershock, some other crates that were like because a building might collapse, so a crate, because you will just find another crate with more supplies randomly. I guess how they explain it is why you will find supplies randomly is because there might be a crate that landed in a building somewhere, and every time there's an aftershock, it shook up.
Yeah, it moves.
And also stuff that's in it might just fly out and land in random places, like
on a ledge. And I suppose if it hits the street, that's the first picked off and is gone. Yeah, where a kind of tinned fruit that just hits nicely on a ledge will just stay there.
Yeah, but there's also that idea that somebody else had those supplies and was climbing, and maybe they stopped to fucking have a drink of water and fell.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened to me when I was playing.
Oh yeah.
But that's another thing I really don't like about those games, where like they try and like they're survival games and they're the illusion of being realistic, but like if you're mid-swing, you're using your grappling hook and you're mid-swing and you realize, oh no, my fucking stamina's going down, and you take out and you drink like 3 bottles of water and fucking take a shot of adrenaline. It's like, well, you couldn't do that if you're like mid-climb or mid-swing. Like you really like you shouldn't don't program it that way. They'd have to redesign the entire game for that though, but
yeah, that it would just be like, oh, you don't have enough stamina to do this in the first place, so fuel up before you do the maneuver.
Oh wow! I just seen this now. This game started development in 2005.
Wow! It came out in 2012. Did you say?
Yeah, with Darkworks, and then Ubisoft took it over in 2008, and then it was released in 2012.
That's crazy.
Like,
there must have just been the very basic framework there, and then they just built on it.
Yeah, 7 years to get that game out.
And that's what they came out.
Yeah, and it was just like an Xbox Live release. Like there was no physical copy of that.
Oh, right, yeah. But I suppose they just had to get out and just make some money on it at that point.
Yeah, I wonder how much they made off it. It's hard to get a figure for that. So anyway, so you would go back, you would walk to the city.
Yeah.
If you saw that kid, would you have helped them? Or would you let them fend for themselves?
I don't know if I chased after them like you have to in the game. That's the only thing. Like,
he still he thinks it's his daughter at that point.
Yeah. I suppose I forgot about that. That's the thing. Like you think it's your kid, so you would chase after them.
Yeah.
And then when you realize it's not.
I also wondered, like, I know it's been a year, and for a kid that young, like, that's a huge amount of time, but you'd still, like, assume they would recognize you and wouldn't run from you.
Yeah.
Especially if they're, like, he finds her outside his family's front door.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't think it, like, that's certainly why, like, at some point while chasing the kid, you'd be like, wait a second.
That's not my kid. Yeah.
There's also that part, like, the kid's out, like, shouting for her ma, and then when she sees you, she runs, and it's like, why would you out...
What do you think would happen?
Like, if you're out why are you out screaming on the street if you're, like, this wary of people?
It doesn't really explain how she got there or anything. She's just there, separated from her mum, when her mum's in...
No, I think they were just going back to Henry's, but yeah, they never actually explain exactly how they got separated.
But then she gets cornered by the guys, isn't it? They're trying to get her defense. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, like, I think, I don't want to come across as heartless, but at the point where you do finally catch up with her and you see she's been cornered by these three, I mean, they could be pedophiles, they could be cannibals, all the above.
Yeah.
Don't really know, but there's...
They could be her brothers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it could be anything.
But, like, when you see that, because they don't see you, you see them and they're trying to get the kid, like, would you be a hero?
I don't know, like, me against three guys...
That's the thing, because realistic.
Like in the realistic scenario, yeah.
He's a businessman who's been out, like, and he obviously done rock climbing on the weekends and stuff.
Yeah.
But he says it at the start. He says when he's recording his diary, he says he's never even shot a gun before.
Yeah.
So he's like, he's an average office worker.
Yeah.
Against three guys who all one has a gun and two have machetes.
Yeah. He maybe does TRX in the gym, like.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing, like, you're just not.
Just the numbers game. I don't think... Is there anybody alive who can go up against three people with weapons and win?
Like, some serious martial arts people, maybe, but then they wouldn't take the risk.
No, but like, it's
they know
it's the simple numbers game. Like, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, as much as you see it in, like, movies and TV shows, even if you're the best trained, like, Green Beret, Marine, whatever, you're still not going to go up against three guys unarmed like that.
No, there is the rare person, but they're like, you'll see some viral video of some guy that does it, like, and sometimes it might be six, but the reason they go viral and people are like, that's fucking mad, is because that's mad. Like, that it doesn't happen.
Exactly,
Yeah, although, there's some funny examples. Like, one of the Gracie, like, jitsu guys, like, live tweeted his mugging. Like, he was being followed by, like, three guys, and he knew they were going to mug him, like, so he's just tweeting about it, and then he ended up beating them all up. So, like, I guess there's guys like that. But that's just people, they might have a knife, like, when it's a gun and two machetes, like.
Yeah, even if you have a gun, like, you just...
Yeah.
It's, no, like, okay, the best way that, like, could possibly play it is, you killed those three guys, but you're so injured.
Yeah,
well,
fucked. Exactly. Yeah. That's that's the best case scenario.
Best case scenario is you fucked yourself up.
Yeah.
And okay, you might recover. It mightn't be any fatal, but you're gonna have a broken nose, a couple of cracked ribs. You're gonna need stitches.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna be fucking exhausted, and you're gonna need to rest, and you're fucked for like a month.
Yeah.
Before you can move on and get anywhere else.
Yeah, and you can't pause mid-fight and, like, have a drink of water to boost your stamina.
And then you've put yourself in the scenario of, okay, you're stuck for a month, not being able to climb. It's going to be harder for you to get food, all that kind of stuff. Like you're,
Yeah, and now you've got a kid
yeah,
to look after.
yeah, exactly. So it's, in an ideal world, I'd like to think I would help, but I don't think I could.
Yeah, well, it's the 1 on 3. Like it's.
Yeah, if it's one guy,
Yeah, I think
even if it's one guy, like me, who I am right now, I would. I don't know.
I think you have to. If it's just one guy, I think you kind of have to. Especially if you at least have like a fucking machete on you.
Yeah, yeah. But I would try like just sneak up on him and hit him like in the back of
Yeah.
the neck with it or something. Like I just.
Well, that's what. Like, if it's that exact scenario where there's one guy like reaching in trying to get her, and she's hiding. Like,
Yeah.
it's probably you have the advantage there at least. Like,
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Just get in quick.
yeah, yeah. I certainly would if it's just one person.
That's where you have that moment of like he's reaching in, and then you run in with your machete and just hit him in the back of the neck. It doesn't go all the way through, but it's enough to kill him. And then he just falls to the ground, and the kid's like, "That was my dad."
Yeah. But no, like I think if it was like one person, or maybe like this is how you could play it. Either way, if it is 3 people, you just go, "Hey guys, I know how to get her." And you just go around here, and then when their backs turned, just machete them or something.
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
try and split them up. Like, you go that way, I'll go this way.
Yeah. You play the like, "Hey, she stole my food. I want a piece of that too."
Yeah,
kind of thing.
It'd only really work if it's one person, but yeah, you just fucking act like you're on their side.
Yeah,
and then
you're like,
just-
"Hey guys, I'm also a scumbag."
yeah.
That's the only way. Yeah, lying is your friend.
which is a part of the game too, like where you pretend you have bullets and stuff.
Oh,
and just
yeah,
try.
yeah. There's a great moment in it where one point where you're going through a building and I think there's 3 or 4 guys, and you're pointing your gun at a guy and it's empty, but he doesn't know that because you've just shot one of them.
Yeah.
And he keeps daring, getting closer and closer, and then you point the gun, and he steps back a bit, and then he's like, "Take it easy, take it easy."
Yeah,
he keeps getting
yeah.
closer and closer, like he's daring you to shoot him. He's taking the risk on it.
It's funny, like the amount of times I like accidentally then pulled the trigger, just pressed the wrong button, and then they just realised there's nothing in it.
Oh, and they just charge you.
Yeah. So we probably wouldn't save the kid from 3 people anyway.
Not from 3, like
Yeah.
that's.
So we just go on our way, and that's it over. Like, just go looking for your family.
Keep going for your family.
Yeah, I guess if you have the gun anyway, then you can. Like, that's.
Yeah, because even if it's empty, you can.
Yeah, well, you shoot the guy with the gun.
With the gun, yeah.
And then you can threaten the others. But still, like, you're going up. Say if you only have 1 bullet and you kill the one guy with the gun, okay, you've taken the gun out of it, then you can threaten the other 2.
Yeah.
But realistically, what do you do after that?
Yeah.
Like, you're still up against 2 people. Like, you have to go for one of them with a machete. What does the other one do while you're doing that? Like, you're definitely going to get, like, seriously injured.
Well, there's a good question is, okay, you're on the other side of it, right? It's 2 of us, and
Chasing a kid.
I'm not saying we're chasing the kid, but say we have food or whatever. We're moving a box of food that we found, and a guy comes up with a gun and shoots me, and then points the gun at you. Do you take the chance that he's only 1 bullet left, or he's no bullets left? You know?
Yeah, well, I don't want to live in a world without you anyway, so I've got nothing left to lose now. Yeah, no, I mean, like...
Okay, so Gordo's there as well. He shoots Gordo first from those conspiracy
and then
guys.
it's me and you.
And then it's me and you. And he's pointing a gun at the 2 of us. And, sorry, Gordo.
I think, like, in any scenario, if somebody shoots... If you're with a group of people and one of them's shot,
Yeah.
the assumption is that you can be shot at any moment.
Yeah.
I think at that point, like, if... I guess it depends on the circumstance. Like, what led... Did Gordo charge for him? Or did the guy just shoot? Or were we all hands up and your man just shot us, like?
Do you think Gordo would charge?
It's hard to do. if Gordo was here. No, I think he'd play it smart too.
Yeah.
But I think, well, whoever you're with, like, if the person that's been shot charged for them and was shot,
Yeah.
then I back up. Because I'm like, okay, they kind of got themselves shot.
Yeah.
But if we were like...
Well, no, in this scenario, right, the box of food is instead of the kid.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're just moving it, and
Yeah.
so their best tactical situation is to shoot one of us anyway.
If they shot one of us that was standing still, essentially, well, then you go for them. Then, because then you assume, well, I'm going to be shot either way, whether I charge or stay put. This most likely ends with me being shot. So
because if they're going to kill one of us, they're going to kill all of us.
Yeah. Whereas if it was a case where like you done something stupid, like you tried to like sneak up on them and they turned and shot you, it's like they might not be willing to waste another bullet. They might have panicked.
Yeah.
But I think, if in any scenario, if a gun has been fired at somebody who wasn't making a move, chances are you're going to be shot too. Like,
the scenario there is run away.
Just get shot in the back as you run. Like,
just back away. Just like, whoa, take it easy, man. Take it easy. Is that our destiny? We're background guys in a video game who get killed.
Well, that's what you should be doing. Like before he shoots, you should just back away and like let him get the food, or at least let him think that's what's happening. But I think once somebody has been shot, the assumption is
they'll shoot again.
So you just have to go for it. Like, and you probably still will get shot, but if you're going to get shot anyway, you might as well take the chance and try and. Because they might not have another bullet, and you might just like be able to.
I can see that scenario. It's the two of us left, right, and so we're both straight away now. Okay, if one of us charges, they'll probably get close enough, even if he does shoot them, that it'll then give the other one the opportunity to take him down. So then we have that moment where we're both standing there going like, "Hey man, take it easy," and we're trying to communicate with each other. Like, I'm like, "You go," you're like, "No, you go." And then we just keep standing there for ages, we like looking at each other, like, "No, you go."
He just shoots both. Then, that's almost a worse scenario, to be the three guys on the other end. Like, well, what do we do?
Well, I was just trying to think like the psychology of it. How would you react, like not knowing that like that person comes out of nowhere, which is what happens to those guys. You know, this guy just comes out of nowhere. And,
what I love as well, actually, is how, like, when you meet, like, the thugs and stuff in it, how kind of cocky they are.
Yeah, they're all so cocky.
Oh, you in the wrong neighborhood, boy. And then you pull out a gun and it's like, whoa, easy. The change is so funny how quickly it happens.
But that's what it would be like, I think. And you would get people would become very territorial. And they get tribal and territorial. You could like it's that people the other side of the river, we hate them. Like they just become that straight away. Even though you've no reason to hate them, it's just because they're over there and you're over here, and they might have something you don't, and you might have something they want, and it's just
that's the other thing with the game too. Like when you do go down to the subway or in certain buildings where there's just people kind of living for themselves or whatever, there's always just like 6 of them. Where like it'd be far more realistically.
Oh, it'd be like 50.
If not more. Like Chicago is very empty for what happened. Like no earthquake, no matter how big, even though this is the big one, it would not kill that many people.
No, like what's the population of Chicago? Let's say
6 million.
I was going to say 5-6 million probably. Yeah. And even if like 1 million people are killed, that's still another 5 million people.
A lot of people would move on and stuff like that. But
or they'd go off in search of refugee camps and things like that.
Well, but like the population you meet throughout this game is in its hundreds, if even like maybe 100 people. Like, it looks.
Max.
Oh wow, the population of Chicago is actually 3 million.
Wow, I would have thought it'd be more.
Yeah, like the big river, like that he has to climb over, and what like floods the place in the end. Is that Lake Michigan, or is there?
Yeah, it's a lake, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But I guess
because it's not the sea; it's the lake.
Well, I suppose at this point, is it now the sea though? Like, is New York?
Maybe.
Did New York essentially fall into the fucking ocean, and Lake Michigan? Because they come in. Sorry, I'm only thinking of this now. But like the boat that comes, like it's a big fucking. He comes into a harbour on a big rig, like.
Oh right, okay.
Did you saw the ending though, didn't you?
No, not that bit. That's right. I just watched the like what was the very end, which is it turns out that it's someone else watching the video.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. I missed.
So like literally 5 minutes before that, you want to.
Yeah, I missed that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, so it was only something that occurred to me now. Anyway, like, I have no idea how connected the Lake Michigan and different harbors are in Chicago. But maybe it's to imply that all the states beyond Chicago are underwater.
gone.
Like
Yeah.
that way, we went on a tangent there from population. Yeah, so you're going to meet a lot more people. So
Yeah.
well, the chance of you getting in those predicaments, if everybody has turned that savage, like you're going to end up in those predicaments
Yeah.
a lot more.
And I don't think necessarily people go, that's savage. It's just people who look after their own. And the last thing anybody wants is another mouth to feed from what supplies they have.
Yeah, I don't look how people like the shit that you hear happening after natural disasters, like after Hurricane Katrina, like
Yeah.
and that's something where like for a month people were like living in refuge centers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is where like a year people were just on their own, like had nothing. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like the only thing accurate in that game is probably how quickly people would turn
I suppose,
completely
yeah.
savage.
I've more faith in humanity, but not really as I think about it.
Well, it's not even a question of fate. It's just a question. Well, like just look at real life and what happens.
Yeah. And there's always just going to be people who take advantage, and there's always going to be the guys who hoard all the food and then sell it to people for whatever, like trading in anything.
Yeah. I imagine like a lot of the type of people you meet in this game seem like they would have been scumbags before.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
too.
I know what you mean.
And the only difference is I don't imagine those people would actually survive. Those type of people tend to be like idiots and will make snap decisions, will fucking eat. They're the type of people that would drink salt water not knowing that it's,
Yeah.
you know, they'll get themselves killed by just being idiots.
Yeah, if you're a year in, most of them are going to be dead because
Yeah.
they'd have killed each other or gotten themselves killed or been stupid or cocky or like,
But a lot of the guys too, you meet some people and they're clearly military guys
yeah,
as well. And I imagine, you know, maybe a certain
they were sent in to help and then
just
it
got
all fell
stuck
apart. Like,
and-
yeah,
And the people that kind of have a group where they're clearly looking out for each other within their group, they might be like people with a military background or something.
yeah,
Whereas you see guys that are clearly just thugs, where like if their friends broke his leg, they'll just leave him.
oh yeah, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Or the ex-military guys, they're just trying to survive. Like
yeah,
they're probably not going to be turned savage, but they'll do what they need to do.
yeah. I get you. Yeah, they'll just because they'll act like soldiers. They'll do what they have to survive,
Yeah.
but they're not going to look for trouble. Like, yeah.
So did you watch the part? So anyway, you
Yeah.
eventually meet Henry, who the little girl you're minding, whose name's May. Her and her mother are staring with this guy Henry.
Yeah.
You saw all that.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Actually. Yeah.
He turns out to be a guy in a wheelchair, and that's why.
Ah, okay. I was wondering why like, he's on the walkie-talkie and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you get her back to Henry. Henry of course assumes you want something, that you're holding her at ransom, which is really funny.
Oh yeah, he keeps saying that through the walkie-talkie, and he's getting frustrated. And he's like, "I'll just bring her back to you."
Yeah. Once you bring her back and you're just like, I don't want anything, you're just going to leave. And it's really funny because as soon as he knows, and it's not meant to be like this,
Yeah.
but the way it plays out, as soon as he knows that you don't want anything, he's like, oh, well, now that you're here, he's just got loads of jobs for you, and that's where you have to go and get the crate. But eventually, yeah, you have to go and rescue her mother then as well.
yeah.
She's in a hotel down the road that's clear, like just militants running
Oh,
it.
right, okay.
And they just have like loads of sex slaves.
I was going to
essentially.
say it's like a brothel.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, a brothel, like it's just
Yeah, sex slaves.
yeah. It's
Because
just their
I
own-
was gonna say that like that was one thing from the bits I watched is the one thing I thought was missing is you should be coming across like a gang of people who are hoarding food, or they're trying to open like they've opened a bar, or they've opened some kind of trading center, or they've opened like that like they have sex slaves or a brothel or whatever. Like you would think it would just be Old West rules, that kind of way. Like,
I think that would happen much later, though. I don't think you would get that
Yeah.
a year from a disaster.
Yeah, you think it'd be much later?
Yeah,
There's always going to be some fucker who hoards a load of food though, and then is trying to trade it for whatever, like sex or
I mean, you might have
favours.
that in I'm sure there'd be elements of that, but I think a year after a disaster like that, everything's still just chaotic.
Yeah.
I think before, like, any sort of, even just like a little settlement, a settlement in itself, even if they are just using an old shopping centre or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's a few years before before people can get their shit together enough that they can even try and trade. I'm going to even say like 5 years maybe before it really takes off.
You think? Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
I
like,
suppose because that's kind of the signs of like trade is coming back. People are trying to, yeah. People are almost in a weird way. They're trying to build back society, even though it's not very nice. You know?
Yeah. I imagine in 5 years it'd be up and running as well. Like, as in, people, there would be somewhat in these separate little establishments. There would be a proper structure in that.
Yeah.
But I don't think anywhere would get done within a year. Especially not in this, like, Chicago seems to have gotten hit fairly bad.
Yeah. So everyone's still every man for himself kind of attitude. Yeah.
Like, what do you think Dublin would be like a year from that disaster?
Oh, it'd be fucking savage. It'd just be, yeah.
Do you think Dublin would be worse?
No, I'd say it'd be very similar.
Yeah, that's what I'd say, about the same.
Because
Easier to climb over anyway. No.
Yeah, your biggest problem is the Liffey's like right down the middle. So it'd be a big deal depending on which side you're in or on.
Yeah.
Like, where's the narrowest part of, like, what, can you cross it narrowly? I'm trying to think.
The narrowest place to cross the Liffey.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, even in the city, it's probably like up at Phoenix Park or something. Or like,
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. The narrowest part is probably here.
yeah.
It's even fairly calm there. Like, you could just walk across it, like, without a bridge. In the city itself, it's not really narrow at any point, is it?
No, it's kind of the same width all the way, like a big canal all the way down. So it's, yeah, you're either on the north side or the south side, really.
Do you think O'Connell Bridge would get taken out?
It's a sturdy, big fucking bridge, isn't it?
Yeah,
and it's quite low down. It's not like a high bridge or anything.
We see. I'm assuming that the water, like, how you should assume the water's going to rise something fierce if it's like
there's days when it's like where the tide is in, and there's been a lot of heavy rainfall, and it's like you feel like if you reached over the wall, you could nearly touch the Liffey. Like, it's that high up. So yeah, you add in an earthquake to shift the ground and stuff, it easily flood.
Yeah. And then like, would that, I wonder, like, that continuous flow, would that be enough to, like, take out those bridges?
Certainly make them unpassable anyway.
Yeah, O'Connell Bridge probably would, because that's
like, you take O'Connell Bridge, even if it's still physically there, but if you have the water running over it, say a foot deep, it's enough to sweep you away to try and cross it.
Yeah. O'Connell Bridge is a funny one because it's wider. It's like you rarely see bridges. Like, it's three times wider than it is in length.
Yeah. So it's a big, fat, short bridge.
Yeah. I think even it might be like the widest bridge in the world for its length or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Because it's 2 lanes of traffic, or 3 lanes of traffic, is it? 2?
Oh, yeah.
It's 2 lanes of traffic each way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's only...
And big footpaths, and a Rhode Island footpath in the middle and everything. It's massive. Yeah.
But it's only like 50 feet.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, like, if that actually is to its advantage or disadvantage. Like, I wouldn't know. I would have assumed advantage. Like, there is more room for support. Like, there's more room for support.
Yeah, I don't think it would go anywhere unless the way the ground tears happens to just tear it down the middle or something, which is not that likely.
Yeah. But I'd say, like, the bridge, like Millennium Walk, like, that doesn't, like, that.
Oh yeah, and like the Beckett Bridge, that's coming down.
Yeah, Millennium Walk, like, I feel like that could go at any minute when I'm walking over it.
Yeah. And there's the new one they built for the new Lewis Works. I can't remember what it's called. It's like the next one after.
Yeah.
The O'Connell Bridge. And it's like flimsy. You walk over that, like, you get your feet wet.
Yeah.
I walk over it every morning going to work. And there's a point where you step on a slab and the slab sinks and then water comes up. Like, that thing's gone. Like, and they only built that like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, that's going.
Good to know. Well, that's the only reason I was wondering about O'Connell Bridge. I was just wondering if the north and the south side would be separated because it would make things a lot safer. Like,
Yeah.
stay away from the north side.
But I live on the north. You live on the south. Or well, no, you're
That's
sorry,
the
south.
south,
Yeah.
yeah. South of the Liffey, like.
Yeah.
But even just from a population standpoint too, like north side is more residential, so you
Yeah,
have
that's
less
it.
people to even deal with on the south side. You'd imagine.
Yeah, like South Inner City is all business,
Yeah,
bars, restaurants,
yeah.
shops. Like it's
So more supplies.
That's
less,
it, actually,
less
yeah.
people to fight for those supplies.
who are definitely like staying there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Though it's all apartment living as well, all along the, like right in the middle, it's all apartment living, and then right out that, then it's like there's some housing, but like you go up like Summerhill, it's all houses. So,
Yeah, yeah.
So you have, so even if like loads of the apartments come down, there's still a huge population of people living in houses that are like a 5-10 minute walk away.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I suppose.
Though realistically, we wouldn't. I don't think there'd be a huge death toll, as is in the game anyway. Like, I mean, of course, there'd be a huge
Oh,
death
yeah,
toll,
massive.
But you're never going to have enough supplies for whoever survives anyway. Like,
No, I think like a week and all the food's gone.
yeah, yeah,
There is something like that. I'm trying to. It's not Ireland. I think it was done with like New York, and it was. I remember reading about an article ages ago for probably another episode, and it was like how much food is there in New York, and it's.
I think the average city it's 3 days.
Yeah.
The average
Like-
city has 3.
like all the food on all the
whether it's
shelves.
New York or Dublin.
Yeah.
It's 3 days.
For food to then be
I
imported.
think when it goes to warehouses and that, it's 8 to 10 days.
Yeah.
And
then
they
that's
don't tend to be in the cities.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's scary when you think about it.
Yeah, yeah. So you have very little to work with.
Yeah. Like when you think about it that way, if we have, like we had, it's probably about 6 years ago now, we had like a really big snow.
Yeah, yeah.
Just remember the big snow.
The big freeze.
The big freeze.
1 and 2. We had them 2 years in a row. The
Yeah,
first
yeah.
year they didn't have enough salt for the roads because they weren't expecting it to be that bad. The second year they didn't have enough salt for the roads because, well, we never thought we'd get it twice.
Yeah, we didn't think it would happen again.
Really, like, you don't get to use that excuse the second time.
And I love then they bought like 5 snow plows and then they haven't needed them since.
I think they've sold them back.
Yeah.
So, like, guaranteed.
It's going to happen this
Yeah.
winter or next winter.
Yeah.
But even like on those days, it wasn't completely, but there was points during the day where like all public transport and everything stopped at like 3 p.m.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
like there was days I had to like I was working in a shop, and we'd close the shop early, and then I walked home. But you get a couple of days of that where there's no transport on the roads. It's like, and even if you can walk, so you can walk to all the shops and buy food. And like, how long before we run out of food? If that continues for 2 weeks, like you're gonna have riots. You're
Yeah.
gonna have people
Well, in
breaking into
Ireland,
your house
because
for food.
Ireland's so unprepared for that, and Irish
Yeah.
people, we're a panicky bunch. like overreact
Yeah.
big time to like fucking Garth Brooks concerts. Never mind
I
fucking
know, yeah.
natural disasters. And even like during the big freeze, and this like happens everywhere, but it seems especially in Ireland. Like you can kind of ignore that 3-day food supply because what tends to happen is people fucking panic, go to the shops and clear the shelves and buy fucking they create
Yeah,
a
shortage.
yeah.
It's like straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like what'll happen in any of those scenarios, just the first people to get to it will take more than they need.
Yeah. You're probably the same as well. Like since we've been doing this and thinking about it a lot more, like it's in your conscious mind of thinking about disasters more and all that kind of stuff. Every time I go to the supermarket, like I do a big shop every Sunday, and every Sunday I'm like, oh, we need more pasta, we need more rice. And Katie's just like, no, we have loads at home. And I'm like, no, we don't have enough. Like, we need loads of emergency supplies. I'm very conscious of the idea of like we should have 30 days of food, of like at least like dried goods in the house at all times. You know?
Yeah.
And I always say to her, and she's like, you're being silly. And I'm like, no, we need another bag of pasta.
yeah, and, but like,
And then we get home and she's like, look, there's loads of pasta. I'm like, no, that's not enough. That's not enough. You know?
but like with stuff like that, it doesn't hurt to have far more than you need because like, well, you're going to use it anyway.
No, it doesn't go off.
Yeah.
Like, even if there's a use by date.
And even if it is the stuff that goes off, or even if it is stuff that doesn't have a huge use by date, well, you just like use that first and like, oh, you know.
Yeah, work your way back. Like,
Yeah. But it's funny because like when you think of it, like fucking Dublin in the 17th century
Yeah.
would have had storage of grains and oats and stuff for when for the years that there might, if there was, for fear that there might be a bad harvest, like cities tended to like keep stockpiles. And how many of those cities still like fucking endured huge famines? And like,
Yeah, I know.
like Game of Thrones, like you hear like talked about in Game of Thrones the whole time, like how much they have for the winter, like, oh, we can get through 4 years of winter with the grain storage and stuff.
And then that's it.
Yeah, but like that, and that's how cities used to operate.
They don't anymore.
And they don't anymore. Now it's like they don't think about that at all.
Yeah.
And we have the populations are like fucking 10 times greater, and the like we don't need to worry about plagues as much, but you know, terrorist attacks and nukes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Even like I don't know, it's scary.
Yeah, it's just it's funny like how we've gone backwards in our preparedness, like cities have anyway.
Yeah, we've become a lot more reliant. And you see, because we live in a world now where nobody cooks. Everybody's just like, they just get food every day. And, like, I know loads of people. I work with loads of people who they just go to the supermarket every day on their way home, and they have like nothing at home. They might have porridge or a box of cereal at home and like a tin of tomatoes, and that's it.
Yeah.
And they just buy their food every day on the way home from work. And it makes me nervous hearing that.
I get like that. There'll be weeks where I just don't get around to doing big shops, and I get like that, and I can just about cope.
Yeah.
Like I'm at the moment I'm kind of like that. That's why you're having spaghetti today, because I think that's like the last thing in my fridge, and as in other than like the very much the emergency food.
Oh yeah. I have the car with me today. We can on our break. I can bring you for a big supermarket shop if you like.
Well, maybe. Well, no, it's not even that necessary. but just to illustrate the point, like I've felt that the last few days, just watching like the supply dwindle, and like being like, oh, I really need to do a shop. But to a lot of people, that would just be
that's normal.
Yeah, like, well, I'll get tomorrow's food on the way home from work, and and then at the weekends they tend to just end up ordering out, like
they just get takeaway.
Couldn't
but that's kind of city living. Like, you're living in an apartment in the city. That's kind of what most people do.
It's fucking really expensive.
It's so expensive to do. I don't know.
Because if we're just talking about our shopping now.
I know, yeah.
If you're just like buying some groceries to make I'll buy a steak to do tonight kind of thing. Yeah. You're not stopping. If you're not doing a big shop, you're stopping off at like express supermarkets.
That's it. Where it's more expensive.
Yeah. You're not like going to a deli like and getting good cuts even. It's
I don't know how people do it. Yeah.
Well, they'll be the first to go in the event.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that. Was they'll be the first people to go, or they'll be the ones who'll be the really desperate fuckers who will go savage first.
Yeah, actually, that's probably it.
They're the guys in suits who are chasing your man for his bottle of water.
Yeah,
that was in the teaser trailer for I was going to say Last of Us for I'm Alive.
Yeah, that's fucking exactly it.
Yeah.
Them, and then like the other extreme is the people that were scumbags anyway. Like we just see it as an excuse to, like, the guys in that hotel who have like the fucking sex slaves and stuff.
Yeah,
they were always bad people. And
they were almost waiting for the opportunity.
Yeah, they embraced this. There's people like they're kind of like the cannibals in the road. Like there's a lot of them that are clearly like.
They're enjoying it.
Yeah, they were probably fucking ex-cons. Like they were probably actually in a prison. That's the only reason they survived so long, is that they were in a prison during the disaster. Eventually broke out and just banded together. But speaking of that hotel, so he has to go and rescue her from the hotel. Would you be going on that mission?
Fuck no. Do you know what? I would nearly. It sounds so harsh, but like, you're out for yourself. Your main mission still is looking for your family, which he kind of seems to forget at that point. And okay, so I got the girl off the three guys, even though I wasn't going to do that.
Yeah, and you got her back to Henry at this point.
Yeah, you get her back to Henry, and then
Henry's got a great setup.
Oh yeah,
like his apartment it's clean. Like, he's very high up. Like, he just can't leave because he's in the wheelchair. But
because all the elevators are out and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think he can. I mean, he gets out of there at some point. So I'm not sure.
Right, okay.
I'm not sure how. I never even thought of that till now. How he
There's
got.
just this like 7-hour montage of him crawling down the stairs.
Yeah. Or unless he's just like pretending to be in a wheelchair. Well, so
Yeah,
he's
I
got a
would-
good setup.
Okay, yeah, I would be like, right, Henry. No, like I'm gonna get her, but I'm gonna need some supplies first. Right? Let me stay the night. I need to fuel up. I need a good meal. And I'm gonna I'm gonna need a few bottles of water to take with me,
Yeah.
and she'll probably be very dehydrated. I mean, I better take some water for her. They're probably starving her. I'll take some food for her as well.
Yeah. Do you have a working DVD player? I can watch a box set while I'm here.
Yeah.
'Cause he's got power.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. Let me get a really good rest. I'll do some stretches in the morning, ready for.
You just end up like, and then it's like 3 weeks later, and you're just like sitting on his couch smoking a bong.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's just the post-apocalyptic equivalent. It's like, yeah, man, I've sent out a few CVs. Like, I've got a few things in the work.
Yeah. Oh man, I did a phone interview this morning while you were in the shower, and you're just gonna like milk it. Yeah, I'd milk it for like a day or two, and then take a pile of supplies with me and just leave.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
And I would be, I'd keep a walkie-talkie and be like, okay, I'm just at the hotel now.
Oh my god!
Oh man, they killed her.
You shoot your gun in the air and you pretend to be shot. And it's like, I died a hero.
It's like, if you see my wife, tell her I love her. And they just smash the walkie-talkie on the ground and walk away.
I think in his mind, when he hears about this hotel, he also thinks like, well, what if my wife's there?
Oh yeah. Well, I suppose because it's, as far as you know, the last place they were was in your house, and then this is what's happened in the city. And
and you hear stories about this, so like you might be inclined to go for that reason. Again, depending on how much you love your wife.
Yeah, and it, like in the hotel, are they trying to like, give us a tin of beans and you can have half an hour with a girl you pick or any of that kind of stuff?
It's just a militia. It's just their place.
So you can't go in and be like going undercover as a client and try and spot your wife or anything like that.
No, it's just a hangout for this group, like, and they just bring their supplies and and women they find there.
I'd maybe go do a recon of it and check it out, and if I didn't spot my wife, I'd be out of there.
Yeah, But what I really liked about this place, when you do go in there and you like sneak in, you meet two girls as you go in. One's been like beaten or whatever, so you can give her medical.
Oh yeah, because you get points for helping people.
Yeah. But when you go on, like you see, you sneak through the lobby or whatever, and there's about 6 guys sitting around the fire, and it's almost an identical scene to The Last of Us.
Oh yeah.
Where in The Last of Us, where I think it's when you're playing as Ellie, and you hear guys talking about Joel, where they're like, "There's some crazy guy who just."
Oh yeah.
They're all sitting around the fire, and they're just like, "Did any of you guys see that guy that was just walking around the street the last 2 days?" And they're like, "Yeah, I heard about him. He killed like 3 guys." And they're just talking about it. It's just a really cool moment. Like,
yeah, you've become an urban legend. There's a new person in town killing people. Like,
and it's just like, but it as well, like, bringing that home, the fact that like there was just the idea that one guy was just walking around by himself is mental in this world.
Yeah. Get you. Because you would always team together with people, whether you trust them or not. You still do. Like, But what would you do? Would you go to the hotel?
No. I don't really need to think about that. Like, I mean, if it was somebody I knew, maybe, but not for a like.
Would you con Henry into getting as much?
Well, you don't need to con him because he gives you some supplies anyway. By way of tanks. Like, he gives you a bow and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure why he had a bow, but, I mean...
Yeah.
He's in a wheel... Like, you can shoot a bow in a wheelchair, but, like, you can't do the stance and that. I'm just... It didn't really make sense to me.
Yeah. I suppose. Yeah, it's... No, I wouldn't be going up against, like, 10 guys.
Oh, yeah, and I think it's, like, more than 10. Like, you probably go through, like, 20 people by the time you get through it.
But it's like, it's 2 or 3 at a time, though, obviously.
No, it gets... In this one, this is nearing the climax, and you actually only.
Yeah, I must watch that video then.
I think I only had 3 bullets for the entire thing. You need to be really. This is the only time in the game where you actually really need to be strategic in how you use
your bullets. And
stuff. And I think even like I kind of cheated and not cheated, but like the sort of poor game mechanics, like the AI being pretty shite.
Yeah,
I was able to use to my advantage, where like I could fucking run away.
Oh, and they just set them. Like,
they won't follow. They'll only follow to a certain mark. Like,
oh yeah. And then when you walk back into the room, they're looking out the window again or whatever.
Yeah, and I think one of them was walking into a wall. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, because they're used to having 3 of them there. It's almost like in was it in Westworld, where the guy's supposed to chop the wood. Did you watch Westworld?
I watched the first episode.
There's a scene where they find all these guys sitting around a fire discussing who's going to go chop the firewood. And it turns out it was none of them were programmed to use the axe. And the guy who was, he malfunctioned and wandered off.
Right.
So they're just stuck in this loop where they're just sitting around a fire going, well, I think you should get the firewood. It's like, well, it ain't my turn. And they're just going on and on and on. And apparently they've been there for like 4 days just having that same conversation because that's all they're programmed to do.
Yeah,
and it's one of those really funny, like, it's that same idea. Like, because you killed one of them already, the other 2 don't know what to do.
I'd like to do an episode on Westworld, but the movie, because I don't want to watch the series.
Yeah, I must watch the movie.
Like you could touch on the series, because it'd just be like doing the scenario anyway. You wouldn't be following it.
Yeah.
So I really didn't. I watched the first episode and I just really didn't like it. It was just like exposition world. Like every scene is somebody explaining what's going on.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
I remember even watching and being like, "Oh, this feels like a Chris Nolan movie," and then it turned out it's produced by Chris Nolan and written by Jonathan Nolan.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's funny.
But if you were to do that scenario, like realistically, we were talking about 1 man going up against 3, so 1 man against 20.
Not gonna happen.
No, like this is a bit better because like you're in a hotel, you fucking are going through dark corridors and stuff. You can hide. Like I would prefer that to be in that predicament than like out on the street against 3 people.
I suppose. Yeah.
I'd rather like go through a hotel of like 30 people,
take them out one by one.
In different increments, and have like places I can hide and be strategic or whatever.
Oh, you go.
I'm not
like,
saying I'd survive, but if given the choice, I would rather do the latter.
Yeah, you go die hard on it. You're like
exactly.
crawling through air vents and setting booby traps and all sorts of shit. Like
yeah, it's a shame there was no traps in it. That's actually what the game would have made the game so much better if there was a mechanic to actually lay out traps.
Yeah, cool.
But you get her anyway, and then by the time you get back to... then that's where the whole climbing up through the upside down building comes, because you got to let off a flare
for the boat.
And it's just some fireworks Henry had, so you have to climb up to the highest building.
Yeah. Which,
is just... realistically, nobody could do what you do in that game, going through that building. Like, because I don't like, but realistically, you would get to a point where you're like, well, this looks high enough, and you would just let them off, like.
Yeah, because like fireworks go pretty high anyway.
Yeah, but you probably do need to like.
Yeah, I suppose then there's all the smoke.
That's
and the dust and
big
all that.
one.
Yeah, that's a big one to get into actually.
Well, that's what. Yeah. Actually, that's a good place to go now because we'll need to wrap up pretty soon. But the smoke is kind of
the dust and the smoke.
That's the big villain, really.
Yeah. Because like we were talking about this in the earthquake episode, and one of the big things is that I never really thought about till I was doing research for it is gas leaks. So you instantly just have a shit ton of fires go off everywhere.
Yeah.
And now I know we're talking this is a year later, but there's still aftershocks and things like that. So
there's still going to be another line blown every day, like some gas line in some building.
So there's always going to be like explosions going off. There's going to be fires. There's always going to be a fire somewhere. Somewhere is going to be on fire, even if it's a small fire.
Yeah.
And
which is in the game. Like you will just see a random fire on top of some building.
Yeah, and there's going to be smoke, and then all the dust that's brought up into the air and stuff like that. So yeah, big thing is in any earthquake, not just in the game world of like the super crazy earthquake, is you got to protect yourself from dust.
Yeah, and just like in the game, that's why like a lot of people are living on the rooftops
Yeah,
of
yeah.
buildings and they just have like little shanty towns up there because they just can't.
They're above the dust.
Yeah, they just can't stay on the ground. Which I think that's a cool idea. That it's
Yeah.
like a flood.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of principle that like only instead of
Yeah.
water being on the ground, it's just ash and smoke.
Yeah, you got to be higher up.
Um,
And there will be flooding as well. That's the other thing.
well, yeah, and there is flooding in it too.
Yeah.
Like, but I do like the idea of the ash cloud being the enemy, and then like at the end of the game, towards the end of the game, when you have to get to the amusement park, on the way there, you just end up meeting loads of thugs that are out.
Oh, right.
I don't, just to make it difficult for you. There's no reason
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they're all of a sudden all over the place, but it does make it's really hard to see them at that point. And just
Ah.
thinking about that, like it doesn't really matter how good or poor your eyesight is, and if you're going to be on ground level in that sort of a scenario,
Yeah.
it's like being in a constant fog. Like you can never see in front of you. Can you
Oh.
imagine how terrifying that is?
Yeah.
Like whatever about your breathing.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think. Thickest fog I've probably been in is you can only see like maybe 20 feet in front of you, and that's terrifying.
Yeah.
But as you're walking, you can always see 20 feet in front of you. It's never like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, like I've
It's
been
kind of
like
weird how it goes.
in the mountains and stuff where like during like probably this time of year where in the
Yeah.
morning the fog is really bad,
Yeah,
and like it might be exaggeration, but I feel like if you put your hand out,
yeah.
you might not be able to see your fingertips. Like
Yeah, no, I've never had that. That's cool. We might get that when we go on our camping trip.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
But imagine dealing with that when like there's people who want to kill you.
Like, but the thickness level, you can't see your fingertips in front of you. So you just walk along and suddenly, oh, there's a building. Oh, there's a guy with
I
a
guess
gun.
the
or a
advantage
machete.
is they can't see you either. Like
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that part frightens me more than how difficult it would be to breathe.
Yeah.
You eventually get a gas mask in that, which helps you. So that's something. I think that's the thing from the lesson from this is, or not. It's not a gas mask. It's just a
Like a breather. Or
yeah. It's just like even your standard fucking the ones we have.
Oh, like just a dust mask or.
Yeah, like even they would be
Oh, yeah.
a benefit to you. So that's something you should have in your bug out bag for this. But like even you could like make your own. Even like
Like a wet T-shirt. or
yeah,
something,
exactly. Like just a fucking muffler scarf or something like would
Yeah.
help you. It's funny because there's enemies you kill in the game who have that,
And then you don't take
but
it.
your character doesn't like make his own. He waits till he finds a proper mask. Like
Yeah, and he's this awesome survivor.
yeah,
I like a goggles, like ski goggles or something. Like
yeah. Well, yeah, just to protect your eyes.
yeah, or even just a pair of sunglasses or something. It would
Yeah.
help. Like, and that would help.
I guess that'd be like so. That's how Dublin. Where do you go in Dublin if you want to get off ground level?
Yeah, like I was only reading it the other day. The tallest building in Ireland is
Not even in Dublin.
in Cork.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like 69 meters or something like that,
Yeah.
which is nothing. Like, and then the other tallest one is the Google building, and that's like 64 meters
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
I was kind of reading it, going, is there only one story in the difference? Like, is it just one floor? And but the Google building was the tallest, and they built this one in Cork. But now there's plans to build a new one in Tara Street Station. That's going to be
65.
no, it's going to be like 80 or something.
Right.
Like they're doing a huge leap.
But even like so, the only thing you could do there is just go to the top of those buildings and have nowhere to go. But you can't like
Yeah.
you can't travel across like the tops of buildings here or anything.
No, there's no way. Yeah. It's,
So there'll be nowhere to.
but
climb
any the average building in Dublin is 5 stories, including a basement level. So it's like 4-5 stories. Like all the, especially like in the city centre, all the shops and offices, they're all that size.
to. Yeah.
And you can jump between the roofs on those.
Yeah. And that might be high enough to be away from
Yeah.
the worst.
But it might not
of
be.
It might not be. Probably won't be. The dart track is high up too. At least you could
Yeah.
walk along that. But yeah, I just don't think we have many options. But now we won't be getting obviously the event that happens, it's a bigger earthquake than
Anything.
than anything. But it is one that, like, well, maybe North America could get something like that, and if they did, we'd obviously suffer from it. But like,
Yeah.
only not mildly. If it was big enough to do that, like everywhere's fucked because the tsunami is going to like circle the globe a couple of times.
Oh yeah, like we were talking about, like with the volcano, the tsunami
which one
coming.
was it?
I can't remember now.
Starts with C, I think. Macau. It doesn't. But yeah.
It circled. What was it, like 8 times? Or 12
I think
times?
7. Yeah.
Yeah, 7 times. That's what it was. That's insane.
So meaning like it went fully around 6 times maybe, and then
Yeah.
half, and then a half. Maybe it was 6.5 or something.
Yeah, before it lost its full energy. You probably still had like bad waves for like a month after that.
But yeah, so that's how we'd probably suffer here. So we might not have to deal as much with the smoke clouds and that.
Yeah, we'd get a bit of a shake. I'd say all windows would be broken. I don't think that many buildings would come down.
Oh, but the other side of it is like we have buildings built not with that in mind. Like not built to withstand any sort of.
Yeah, that's true. Like Dublin's an old city. Like Dublin is. Like the foundations of some of those buildings are like 500-600 years old.
Dublin's essentially built over the foundations of old Dublin. Like, under Dublin is like the ruins of.
We had our city millennium in, I think it was 1984.
Yeah.
So
like
the city is over 1,000 years old, which is, I know, is mind boggling to some Americans listening. But yeah, so it's bonkers. Like there's
yeah. But like a lot of older cities were kind of built on the ruins of what was before too. So like I don't know if structurally anything in Dublin is that strong.
I've been in like especially like I'm thinking for some reason I keep, because we talked about O'Connell Bridge and stuff, I keep thinking about the Liffey, like along the Liffey. There was my brother ran a bar along the Liffey there, and the basement was like really, it was like being in a 1,000-year-old building. It was the because it was obviously the basement of the original building that was there, and then it was built on and built on.
Yeah.
And it's this like old cave, and they used to keep all like bottles of whiskey and wine and stuff down there. But just touching the walls, they're wet because even though we were like 50 feet away from the actual water, over 1,000 years, the water has like seeped all the way through that 50 feet of like clay and concrete and stone. Yeah. So the walls are like, they're wet to the touch, and there's just constantly this water coming in and stuff, and it's like just crumbly. Like you could just put your hand on the wall and like pull clay away.
Yeah.
So, all that's coming down. There's no, like, those foundations are not going to hold against it.
No, not a chance.
It's like all those old buildings all along the Liffey, all along those kind of areas they're just going to drop.
Yeah, and they'll take down then the newer buildings behind them.
Yeah,
will be taken down with them. So I'd say like I think the destruction would be pretty severe, even if the whatever hits us might only be a fraction of what would hit the States. Like I think it'd still,
like if we they say anything over a 7 is severe. And Mexico got hit the other week with an 8.1, I think it was 8.2, something like that. And that was pretty harsh. Like that was really bad. But then, so if you've got a super fucking earthquake that takes out like,
don't you mean hurricane?
Hurricane, yeah. If you watch the video, Johnny keeps saying hurricane. It's really funny. And if you take, if that takes out North America, like the aftershocks of us are probably going to be like a 7 or 8 minimum, I'd say.
Yeah.
So, we're not built for that. I think the worst we've ever gotten is like a 2, I think, of an aftershock.
I think we done this on the last episode, and it was like a 3.9.
Oh, was it that high?
Yeah. Something. It was something very high. But then, like, it sounds very high. But then, like, when you go to the list of current earthquakes happening, there's like a 3.9 happening right now in Colorado that nobody will notice.
Yeah.
Like I said, like if you're living in LA for 10 years, it's like me living beside a train track. It's like you just don't notice the earthquakes.
Yeah, you just feel a bit of shaking. Like
it's like you feel it when it's a 3.2 as opposed to a 3.1. Like you know the difference.
That's the point. Yeah.
I'm not sure about that number. Maybe that's too
but
high.
But the factors are you're multiplying by, like, I can't remember what it was when we did it the last episode, but it was like a couple of thousand times stronger. So.
Exactly. But so we would do things quite differently in the sense that we probably wouldn't be as helpful for two people.
Yeah. Do you think you could do all the climbing?
I've always been a good climber, but I don't think anybody's that good of a climber.
No. I was a great climber as a kid, and I've lost a lot of that agility. But I think I'd get it back over the case of a year of like traveling, right? You know.
Yeah. Well, he obviously done CrossFit and like wall climbing to begin with. Like.
Yeah. Like he was in a really good gym that had their own climbing wall.
Yeah. There's no way he just picked that up.
No.
But obviously, that's for fucking to make the game fun.
I know,
That you could do that much climbing. Yeah, I mean, climbing like a natural environment is going to be difficult no matter what.
Yeah.
You're probably going to fall. You're probably more likely to if you have to do what he does. You probably are more likely to fall to your death than to
be killed by somebody.
Which is comforting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
The worst, you're in control of it.
The worst thing is that I imagine probably would happen to a lot of people in that world is you climb and you fall, but you're not killed.
Yeah.
You're just fucked. Like you fall enough that you like break your back or break both your hips or something. So you're just lying on the ground, slowly starving to death.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is like that's where I'd be more inclined to always be keeping that one bullet anyway for
yourself. Yeah.
But then again, if you fall and break your back,
can you move your arms?
No. But in that world, you're going to die pretty soon anyway because you're going to be down in the ash cloud. So you're just going to choke.
Yeah.
At
breathe
least,
deep. Yeah.
Yeah. At least you'll probably die within a few days anyway because you'll just choke. It'll be pretty horrible, but it'll be better than just. Like if you were to fall now and break your back and nobody's if like just there was nobody around and you're just left there, you could be there weeks like.
Yeah. Just if you do breathe deep.
You might. That's our lesson. If you fall and break your back after an earthquake, but there's like loads of ash clouds, in a day or two you'll probably die anyway.
It's a nice happy way to go.
Yeah.
Do you think you could survive it? In that world, really?
In that world where you don't have to make the same choices he made.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah,
but I think if you're making if you have to do everything he does, then no, I don't think anybody could. Yeah. Like one of his missions you might get through, but nobody's ever going to be lucky enough to.
Yeah, if I got really lucky and got through like one set of 3 guys unscathed, maybe like a few bruises, I would just think I was so lucky.
Yeah, be on your way.
I would maybe at most then have the confidence to take on people one-on-one more bravely.
Yeah.
Because I would think, man, remember that time you took out 3 guys? But I wouldn't.
You get overconfident then, and you like charge for one, and you just trip over your own feet and fall off a ledge.
Yeah. But I wouldn't be like, okay, now I'm going to go up against 30 and rescue this kid's mother who I've never met. And like...
Yeah, no, at that point I'd be like, look, you got a good thing going with Henry.
Yeah. It's like, kid, we need to talk. Your mum's dead.
Yeah.
And Henry's here. Look after you. He seems decent. I don't think he'll rape you. So,
the funny thing is, as well, at the end, so when you have to go to the amusement park to save the girl, you find Henry's wheelchair. So you don't really know what's happened to Henry.
Oh.
Eventually you save the kid, you meet back up with the mother. The boat's there, you put them on the boat. They want you to go with them. But you're like, no, I still have to find out what happened to my family.
Yeah.
And you sort of go on your way. And the entire time, the mother...
Yeah.
The absolute bitch. Doesn't even ask about Henry.
Really?
Yeah, it's like she could not give a shit. Like there's no mention of, oh, where's Henry? Or like, will you go find Henry? The ma just does not care. Like it never even crosses her mind. So that's the thanks Henry got.
Wow. For like feeding her and her child for however long.
Like I think she was taking care of Henry, to be fair. Like I think she was a doctor before. I think she knew Henry.
Yeah. Or
so
like a nurse or whatever. Like a doctor. Yeah.
Yeah, I think doctor.
Can women be doctors? Honestly.
But at that moment she just like she just didn't care about Henry then. So I don't know. That left an ill feeling in my stomach after all the shit I done for her character.
Oh, yeah. She was probably like, thank God Henry's finally out of my life.
Yeah, he was like probably maybe
such a burden.
Yeah, maybe he was creeping on her or something.
Oh yeah,
like, you know. Possible, like especially if she was taking care of him and stuff, like you know how that happens with patients and their carers.
Yeah.
But no, I think she was just like using him. He served his purpose. So that's the other lesson. Like if you can find somebody to use during the apocalypse. But I think we'll wrap it up at that. I think we've said everything that needs to be said. Yeah. We've probably said too much. Like, this podcast is now like probably like half the length of the game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
be sure to check out the wish list and
on Amazon.
The live show stuff coming up on the 10th of October in the Sugar Club. That's in Dublin, so unfortunately American audiences will have to wait until Gordo is travelling the state. Well, I was going to say until he leaves the country and is travelling the States. But I know there's a few people coming over specifically for the live show. Yeah. I don't think from the States. I know from Norway anyway. But and we'll see you all then too, and we'll have episodes before then anyway.
And chat to us online and stuff like that as well. We're around. So
and have a nice apocalypse.